just had our first snowfall of the season, and it was so beautiful and magical. While it's a bit unexpected for it to snow this early, as the Netherlands isn't known to be a snowy country, but it's a gentle reminder that winter is fast approaching and all the festivities that it brings. Even though the snow only lasted a day, it brought a bit of excitement and anticipation for what's to come in the month of December. In the last video, I made a promise to myself that I will get out more, and I've done just that, exploring the surrounding areas of this tiny village I'm in. The Netherlands is a very flat country, so hiking here is more like a stroll, and you'd be lucky to find a hill to even walk on. But nature is abundantly available here. There's something about this place that always gives me the sense of peace and the feeling of contentment. Everything is just so simple, orderly, and enough. There's nothing fancy around here, no mountains or waterfalls, but its simplicity is something that I can feel everywhere I go. People's mindsets, attitudes towards life, the nature, and everything in between. I just love that so much. One thing I will say though, as far as nature goes, there are a lot of farmland here, and a lot of animals too. And I mean a lot. The other day, we had an unexpected visitor. A spider about the size of a strawberry. I think I mentioned this before, but I am petrified of any moving things that don't have 4 limbs. And spiders are definitely high on this list. But long story short, it crawled behind the cupboard and I just stood there waiting for it to come out, because the idea of not knowing where it went and how it might sneak up on me is just so frightening. A few minutes at first quickly turned into over half an hour. And then I thought to myself, I can't believe how I just wasted 30 minutes of my life. And for what? Is this how I'm going to live for the rest of my life? In the shadow of my fears? I think I'm done living in this sense of constant fear of this and that. Something as small as a spider, I can't believe how much time I wasted in my life. And it's becoming more and more apparent how fear is another thing that's holding me back from living my life to its fullest form. And so I want to reflect on how fear has driven certain decisions in my life and how it's impacted my life. The first one that I want to talk about is how it impacted my work life. And as you may already know, like I quit cold turkey. and how I think a fear of failure has led me to that point. And also I want to talk about how fear in the sense of financial insecurities, how that has, I guess, unexpectedly helped me towards achieving financial freedom at this age. And I think fear is one of those things that have both a good side and a bad side, as with everything in life. And sometimes it'll motivate you to do things, sometimes it'll prevent you from doing things that you might want to do. And I think I'm starting to recognize how it's preventing me from living my life to its fullest. So in terms of my work life and how fear, and more specifically fear of failure, has played a part in my burnout and quitting. So I want to share the story of my very last job, how I quit cold turkey, and reflecting back on what led up to that. So I've always have this fear of I'm not good enough, fear of failing. And I think when I'm put into positions where I don't have control, I see that it's sinking and failing and heading towards a dead end, that's when I feel the most stressed and most uncomfortable. So before I share this story of my last job, I just want to, throw it out there that I am not blaming anyone. I think everyone is working through their own traumas and their own insecurities, whatnot. And there's no fault of anyone. I think that's the thing of working in a team, is that everyone brings their own experiences to the table, good or bad. And that's the challenging part, right? So, but in hindsight, looking back as to why I felt so trapped, so stressed all the time was because of constantly being in meetings with this team that I joined and making decisions that are leading the project towards a sinking ship. And here's some of the dynamics that I recognize now, I guess. Back then, it was just like, I don't feel good. Like, this doesn't feel good. But why? I can't. I don't have the mental capacity to figure out why. But hindsight is always 2020, and it's good to reflect. So first, this team was comprised of a project manager who's very adamant about driving the technical decisions of the project. And this individual has also taken the lead of the past 2 attempts of this exact same project in various forms, and it failed because the technical portion just didn't work. Because of this project manager's experience in this company, it was rather hard to challenge because on one hand, you bring technical knowledge to the project, but they have domain knowledge on the problem domain. So there's only so much that you can say. And what made this situation even more challenging is that the team lead is someone who's very junior. This person was promoted to the team lead position because the company couldn't hire anyone fast enough to fill that role, and they need to get the project going. So it was very clear at the start that this individual didn't have the technical experience. And the other senior software engineer on the team, we were new to the team and the company. And so we voiced our concerns and talked to our manager, but our manager suggested that we should give this individual more time to learn and grow. And I'm all for growing and learning, but at the same time, this team lead also made a lot of ego-driven decisions. And yeah, so like there's so many things like, and again, I'm not blaming anyone. Everyone's going through their own journey on different timelines. And I understand it's very difficult to be put into a team lead position when you don't have enough experience. And at the same time, you want to prove that you are capable of holding that position. So a lack of technical experience plus a lack of, I guess, the softer skill side of things, that really made it very challenging. So I think all of that combined together made it very difficult for the project to succeed. And ultimately, day in and day out, I'm just like, what am I doing here? And so I just quit. That's it. And I just couldn't do it. A part of me, it's like, okay, I can't. It's gonna fail. It's gonna fail. It's gonna fail. And I think that really added to my stress. And because I fear so much of failing, I just didn't want to fail. I didn't want to be a part of something that failed. As hard as it was for me to recognize that, I think looking back, if I can see that side of me, I guess, then I can probably look at it from a different angle. It is what it is, right? Like it's not something that I have control over, yet I feel like I was responsible for, and I do have control over, yet it's out of control. And that's the thing. Sometimes there's only so much you can do, as with so many things in life. And it's like the more we accept the fact that we don't have control, the easier it is to just get through. And like what's the worst that can happen, right? Like the project would fail. And then, yeah, like we might get penalized, demoted, I don't know, like whatever it might be, like the company itself wouldn't fail because of one project failing. I'm just so like into everything I do and so passionate about everything I do. And this is the part that I feel like I need to work on, is like just make mistakes, be okay with failing. Like it has nothing to do and says nothing about my character when we fail. Life is about making mistakes. Don't be so afraid of going through the path of failing. Nothing is perfect. Just go out there and try more things and explore. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And this is also, in a way, facing my fear, filming outside, because like talking to the camera alone is frightening enough for me. I'm still not very good at it. And also doing it in the public. Mind you, I found this like nice and quiet spot around here. So the next thing I want to talk about in terms of how fear has impacted my life, I've talked a bit about financial freedom in the past, and I didn't like the way that I was doing it. It was very presentational like, but I do want to talk more about this topic because I'm very passionate about personal finance. In the future, I'll talk more about it, but still have to figure out what's the best way to talk about it. Oh, and by the way, if you have any questions about financial freedom and stuff like that, just comment below. I'll try to answer them when I make the video about my entire path to financial freedom. Anyways, I'm digressing. So how did financial insecurity led me to financial freedom at this age? If you've been following for a while, this financial insecurity comes from childhood trauma, but I'm not gonna dive into that. But a lot of people think there must be some secret, there must be some hack that I did, it's something. But here's the real hard truth. It's the boring things. I think our generation is so obsessed with finding that hack or the secret and a quick fix that would solve all their problems and give them all they want. It's no secret. It's no hack. It really is a combination of frugality, and yes, I am going to have to admit luck is something that attributed to it as well. But that's the part that nobody has control over. But like one thing that we do have full control over, or two things, I guess, is getting a job and improving your skills to climb the corporate ladder, to make more money. And the other part that I think a lot of people struggle with is to cut down on spending. It's insane how frugal I can be. And this is the part where I also want to talk about. As grateful as I am for this ability, this characteristic that I have that has led me to save up quite a bit of money. But it's also something that I'm noticing myself for a while now, that it's hindering me, because at certain times it might feel like I'm depriving myself of a life, and I'm trying to find that balance. I'm really trying to find that balance. I can be so frugal that, for example, when I'm going to the groceries, I don't simply buy whatever I want to eat. I would look for the deals of the week. And if I'm craving for this product and it's not on sale, and if I can't find price match or something to get that price down, I would not get it. Unless I absolutely need it, then I won't get it, and I would rather not eat that food for that day or the week and wait for it when it goes on sale. And this mindset is carried through every decision I make in my life. And sometimes it's just so unnecessary, because like, if you think about how small certain things are, like I love fried chicken. So whenever I crave fried chicken, I would wait until Tuesday to get it on sale. So like something like that, like I would have like force myself to wait until Tuesday to get it. And then sometimes, by the time Tuesday comes and, you're no longer craving that. So, and that's the type of ways how this frugal mindset of financial insecurity is, in a way, I feel like I'm just robbing myself of this life. But then I think I'm at a point where I'm just like, okay, I'm getting older. I'm no longer in my 20s. I'm in my mid-30s. Time is not infinite. I would die one day, as we all will. And I need to just find that right balance of being financially responsible, but at the same time allow myself to enjoy more of certain things. And that's what I'm really trying to work on right now.
We all have fears, however rational or irrational they might be. They could protect us from potential harm, keeping us safe. But they can also lead us to do things that don't make much sense, holding us back from living our lives. I'm starting to realize that these fears are simply a shadow of my past experiences, an echo from the little Andrew in me that's still scared. Sometimes I wish I can go back in time and hold him tight and tell him everything will be okay, but I can't. All I can do now is learn to let go of my past and face these fears, one step at a time.